The bounty hunters. Tang and Bike have been dropped off safely enough, and Onyx pulls away without issue, even as Air Farce goes over where all the weapons are stored nearby and quickly runs a system check on the shuttle's weapons as well. Everything is on the up, and there's enough hardware stored around the shuttle that the real issue will be deciding what level of pain to bring rather than bringing the pain. All right, we're coming up to the main terrace of the synth ascendancy, Onyx says, and everyone looks out the front view screen. From white with gold trim to chrome and neon, thankfully they seem to have lightly stained the metal to stop the whole place from being an unending flare in a person's eyes. Unfortunately, it doesn't help anyone spot a decent parking space, and they're all forced to wait for 5 minutes as Air Farce grows increasingly amused at the simmering tension. Or at least the tension that would be there if his amused giggles weren't utterly shattering it before it can even form properly. You need to knock that off. Pukey rebukes Air Farce after just a minute. Oh, grow a pair. You're going to church, big man. There's a shitter in the back. Take a dump, relax, and then think things through again. You're going into a bastion of extremely friendly territory, and your biggest risk will be getting out without Cindy having some serious competition for your attention. Air Farce answers back, and Cindy straightens up with a frown. They better not make a move on him without going through me first. I'm his first wife. I get the say on whether the girl gets to even propose to my Gregory. Cindy steams and Pukey chuckles before leaning over to give her a kiss on the forehead. This calms her down quickly. Right. Well, since the big girl's already pregnant, I guess we don't have to worry about you two fiddling around and scarring poor innocent Scaly too much. Onyx teases. Innocent? I'll show you innocent. Scaly threatens her. What does that even mean? Onyx questions as they sit down. Well, Scaly tries. Sometimes you just flub it. Moving on is better than choking on it. Pukey advises him, and Scaly nods with a sigh. Remember, no further than 2 minutes away at all times, all right? Yes, sir. Code blue for pickup, red for guns blazing. Good man, Pukey states as the door opens. All right, boys, follow me. Cindy chimes as she hops off her seat and exits the shuttle with first Pukey, then Scaly in tow. The shuttle takes off shortly afterwards without even a puff of displaced air as the three enter the plaza. Whoa! Scaly hisses out in shock as he looks all over the plaza. Are you all right? Cindy asks as Pukey scans the area for trouble. The floor, Pukey switched to electrical spectral scanning in your cybernetic eye, Scaly says in awe. Pukey raises an eyebrow under his hood and his eye shifts to burn bright green, and he sucks in a gasp of surprise before chuckling. Of course they would. What better way to show off how technology can improve things than an art display on the electrical spectrum? Pukey asks, and Cindy reaches into her coat pocket to pull out a pair of sunglasses with some buttons along the bridge. She pushes the leftmost one and gasps in delight. It's a big circuit pattern. That's so clever, Cindy says before pausing and pointing to a break in the pattern that surrounds the area. Is that scripture? Looks like it, Pukey says, scanning it all. Those that obsess of the strength of flesh disregard the strength of the mind and the tools built by hands skilled and savvy. Scaly reads out loud. Indeed, dear child. Oh, it's wonderful to hear the words of the ascendancy spoken by my own people. You are a greater plains Nagasha, are you not? A deep but undeniably feminine voice declares, and they turn to behold a gigantic black and chrome Nagasha woman phasing into view one hexagon at a time. She had active cloaking so effective that no one could tell she was there, despite her size easily dwarfing even a Lydris. A great pale green beam erupts from her eye and waves over them all. Oh my, what an interesting trinity. When a non-augmented, augmetic surgeon who's pregnant with a son in the earliest stage such things can be detected is the most normal of a group. You have a fascinating day before you. That was supposed to be a happy surprise. Cindy shouts up at the gigantic metal serpent woman, who rears back a little at the ferocity. I'm sorry. I thought something like that would be something to be shared right away, she says with a long exaggeration of the S sounds. Pukey turns to Scaly, who gestures for him to lean closer. Exaggerating those sounds is a way to show contrition in many languages of the Greater Plains Nagasha. He explains and Pukey nods. It is indeed, young serpent, the enormous metal snake woman says. But I must know, who is it that hurt you? Your replacement components are excellent quality, but the scarring around them is appalling. Do you need rescue? She asks, slithering forward just a touch, making no noise despite the fact that her massive metallic underside just scraped across the chrome floor. I've already been rescued. I was made an orphan and taken as entertainment by the chaining. Then my new father slaughtered them all as he escaped from them, seduced the woman who is now my mother, and as he broke my chains and delivered me from the deepest hell, she lifted me from pain and weakness. But there's still much to do, Scaly says, and the enormous cyborg Nagasha looks conflicted before she leans down over them and carefully examines all three of them with her fist-sized eyes. Then, the mechanical orb visibly shifts in front of them all as she gasps in shock and rears back with her hands in front of her mouth. You, she says, reaching down for Scaly. Pukey sinks his hard light arm into his ablator cannon and links it up with his cybernetic eye. It won't do much damage, but overheating critical systems will make any machine woman think twice. As she picks up Scaly, his eye shifts into thermal scanning mode and he prepares to shoot right at her power core and cause a potential system meltdown. You're a character from Holy Scripture brought to life. Scaly lowers his hood and bandana as he allows the blanket tied around his waist to fall to the ground to reveal the several patches along his tail where chunks had been taken out of him. He peels off his gloves to reveal his mechanical fingers, and with her thumb, the enormous Nagasha cyborg brushes away the small veil of hair he uses to hide the scars around his cybernetic eye. Pukey takes a few steps to the side to get the clearest shot possible if things start going wrong. A tiny trickle of axiom is fed into the cannon through his cybernetics in order to turn the ablator into a melter. It's hell on the weapon, but it's worse on his targets. A cobra hood extends from her neck as she starts beaming in delight. Oh, you're just too cute. You're just too cute. She then hugs Scaly to her massive breasts that are functionally bigger than he is, as her hood has messages in bright pink, proclaiming about how he is the height of adorable and how she wants to take him home and spoil him until he can't even remember what pain is and only knows happiness and joy. Pukey facepalms with the ablator cannon, then disengages the heavy weapon. Woman, I'm not in the habit of letting people whose name I don't even know all but molest my son. Put him down or I turn the ablator back on. Oh, She scans him and he re-engages the ablator cannon. She puts down Scaly. Pukey disengages the ablator and slings it back over his back. Thank you. I didn't carve my way through an army and blitz through a ship full of cannibalistic lunatics just for the kid to be randomly molested. Pukey remarks, removing his bandana and lowering his hood. Yes, a human. So close to the Trets, but only in appearance. I've spotted a few only in passing around the station. They avoid this section, likely due to the sheer exuberance of the gravids, the giant cyborg Nagasha says. Hence, why this is the first time we've come here after a while. We've fairly given at least mild scouting to all the other sections. Scouting weight, bounty hunting vessel, the chainbreaker, connections to the chaining. Oh my goodness, you're using that blood-drenched ship as a force of liberation. You must have a data network node in you somewhere, Pukey notes calmly. I do. You're the first. The Chainbreaker, Doom of the Wicked. What? Pukey asks, dumbfounded. When the hell did I get more nicknames? You do realize that brutally fast takedowns of high-profile criminals tends to be noticed, right? Scaly asks in a flabbergasted tone. The first one is for you, Captain Schmidt. The other one is your unofficial team name, the Doom of the Wicked. The giant Nagasha states, Gasha. What exactly is publicly known about my team? Pukey demands, wondering if he has to do some form of damage control. If his team's abilities are too widely known, then it's as much a problem as advantage. A reputation is free advertisement and the work will roll in. But if the targets know what to expect, things get exponentially more difficult. Oh, this isn't public. I've got back doors into many, let's call them specialized data repositories. But in them, your team has been noticed. Your trail is short for bounty hunters, but it's a kilometer wide and glowing so bright it can be seen from orbit. Nigh impossible targets tracked in days at most, infamous escape plans thwarted with ease and all brought in alive except for dangerous animals that need destruction. Did you really turn down 5 million credits because it was an unexpected extra? The bounty said 10 million. The extra 5 was not part of the job, Pukey says, inwardly smiling. That stunt was still paying for itself. Why though? A free 5 million is nothing to be sneezed at. And yet, could I have bought the reputation I earned turning down that money with 10 times its amount? He asks, and she pauses. She's utterly still in ways that no organic being can be. Then she twitches and seems to restart as it all comes together for her. Brilliant, she whispers, before glancing between the three of them. There is something visibly working in her mind and she smiles. I just realized I've forgotten to introduce myself. I am Lia Powercoil, the robotic twin of Lia Powercoil and daughter of Lady Gear. She crafted my body from chrome and wire and my mind is the scan of Lisa. Why are you telling us this, Miss Powercoil? Cindy asks, and the gigantic robot snake woman lowers her head, which is larger than Cindy herself, and looks the tiny Cobe right in the eyes. Can I? We're leaving in a few weeks and we don't know if we'll ever come back here. Pukey interrupts and she looks up to him in surprise. You can tell what I'm after? Lia asks in shock. He simply nods, not admitting that he'd been outright staring at her artificial womb to try and make sense of exactly what the hell it was, and had assumed it to be some kind of stomach before her continued interactions with him caused it to warm up and prep itself for use. It took until it was connecting to a lower extremity, however, to give it away. At least you have the decency to ask me, but we need to speak with your mother for a bit. We're trying to get work done on the station, and there's also fact we need to introduce some culture to the crew. Men the Chainbreaker may be full of, but there are times when my son is the most cultured and mature of the lot. Okay, 1, ouch. 2, fair, I guess. You're not even going to deny it? Cindy asks, and Pukey laughs. We refer to each other exclusively by absurd nicknames. We carve childish sayings or things that look cool on our most powerful munitions. Half the reason we consistently use explosives and explosion-based weaponry is because we like the boom. If I'm denying, I'm lying.